Hi marathoners and walkers. One of the first things that you want to do before you start training is visit a dietitian or a naturopath, and that's what we're doing here today. Hi Dr. April.
Hi.
Dr. April is with Saunte Medical Clinic in South Surrey, and one of the first things that I was told to do was get a food allergy test done. Can you tell us about that?
Food allergy testing is very, very important. A lot of marathoners, as you go into your extreme athlete mode, which marathoning really is, there's a lot of carbohydrate that is necessary to fuel your system. And so what I find is a lot of marathoners will head into high wheat content and start eating a lot of carbohydrates that actually may cause them significant amounts of inflammation and irritation and tank their energy and tank their immune system and just not facilitate an integrous body.
So no pasta every day?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm just gonna leave now. I'm joking. So no, that was one of the reasons why I signed up for the marathon, was I was hoping to eat pasta every day and carb out. No?
A lot of people think that that's what they should do. But reality is, when you're marathoning, you are adding a lot of free radical oxidative stress to your system. And if you are sensitive to any food and you add that to your diet frequently and in even increased amounts, you're probably going to do some real damage to your system. You're going to actually become extremely oxidative, very unhealthy.
So with a food allergy test, if you get that done first, you basically figure out a map for your body and what works, what kind of foods work and what kind of foods don't.
Yes.
How does a food allergy test work? What does it look like?
Well, we're not testing for the kind of allergies that you eat a peanut and you go into anaphylactic shock. We're testing for something called a delayed hypersensitivity reaction, which is actually a blood test, and we can either get that blood through just sticking your finger or just a little bit from the vein. We send that in and they'll come back with 96 foods that you're potentially sensitive to. And not necessarily allergic, but sensitive to, which may be you eat this food frequently and you gain weight, or you have joint pain, or you have chronic headaches, or etc., etc., etc. The list can go on. But it's just sent in and then we know. And a lot of people, I just laugh sometimes because marathoners, you know, they'll finish their marathon and they'll finish their long runs and they'll guzzle back a ton of chocolate milk, for example. And then if they're sensitive to dairy, they wonder why they have such gastrointestinal distress and why they're bloated and just feeling so sick with all the dairy that's in their system. Same thing with wheat, but the top 5 most common food sensitivities that I see are wheat, dairy, corn, soy, and potato or citrus can kind of tend to be big issues too.
One of the things that I've heard is if you're training, you should really limit your use of alcoholic beverages.
Yes.
Again, it's going to be an issue here.
Yeah. Twofold reason why you should just abstain from alcohol while you're training for a marathon. If you're only training for a half marathon, maybe we can
can get away with a couple of beers?
A little bit. Yes. Okay. But there's 2 reasons. One, you're going to severely dehydrate yourself. And when you're marathoning and dehydration do not combine very well.
Does it affect your muscles? Does alcohol consumption affect the way that your muscles work and you're training at such a high level?
The second reason why is alcohol will actually interfere with glycogen storage. Glycogen is a kind of a compact way that the body stores sugar so that it can pull on those stores when necessary. So glycogen is stored in the liver and glycogen is stored in the muscles. So when you combine significant dehydration, which always comes with electrolyte loss as well, with glycogen storage issues, you're setting yourself up for some significant muscle cramping, for sure.
So now we're talking about hydration when running and walking. There's a lot of these on the market, these great little drinks that we can get, and then all the new rage has been coconut water.
Coconut water, yes, and they both have their place. I would say if you're rehydrating, that you make sure you do it with a drink that will have natural ingredients. Don't put high fructose corn syrup into your system. Don't put caffeine into your system, if at all possible, because of dehydration. But vitamin water works well, and usually a race is sponsored by some form of rehydration system. That's good. But this will always contain electrolytes, it'll always contain a carbohydrate, so that you can keep going. The vitamin water, yeah.
So this is a good option.
This is a good option.
Oh, okay, great. Let's move on to the coconut water, because everybody I've been talking to has been saying, you know, coconut water is the new miracle drink.
I think coconut is phenomenal. It's got so many antiviral properties, rehydration properties. It does have electrolytes in it. However, I would say for first starting marathoners who may not know their bodies all that well and may not know how well they respond to how much hydration they need, how much caloric intake they need, etc. I just don't know that coconut water is the right balance of electrolyte and carb replacement. I would say definitely experiment with it, but for the first-time marathoners, go for more of a vitamin water, or even make your own kind of Gatorade natural. You can dilute juice and add some sea salt to it. Just make sure you're very well hydrated. Don't just rely on the coconut water for the game day, for the marathon day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly talk a little bit about fueling your body with certain types of foods throughout training. What about the early part of training? What are some things that you should start getting rid of and start eating more of?
Yeah, well, junk in general is a good thing to get rid of.
You know you're ruining my life right now.
I'm so sorry.
Vegetables, obviously.
Yes, vegetables, but the junk in particular, meaning processed foods, high fried foods, artificial sweeteners, artificial coloring, all that. It's just going to add more free radical stress to your already very stressed body. And so yes, I really recommend a high carbohydrate, good forms of carbohydrate, anti-inflammatory.
I'm sorry, I'm getting hungry during this interview.
Aren't they beautiful though? So the more colorful your vegetables, the better capacity they have to go around and put out fires of inflammation in your body, fires of free radical damage in your body. So that's a very important thing to have. But make sure that you're always combining your vegetables, your high antioxidant fruits such as berries. You need protein too. And so when it comes down to it, carbohydrates in general should be about 55% of your plate. So 55%, think of just over half of your plate of a carbohydrate being brown rice, quinoa, brown rice pasta, which is super good. There's a noodle called tinkyada noodle. I don't know if we're able to say that.
What?
Tinkyada.
That sounds kind of cool. That sounds
Totally.
kind of racy. Dinner time? No, I'm just joking.
The best rice noodle I have ever had. Those should be a good chunk of your plate. Obviously your vegetables, but sweet potatoes are really good for glycogen repair and restorage. Definitely all your vegetables for the antioxidant component. And your deep leafy greens, if you're into smoothies, if you have a Vitamix or a Blend Tech, smoothie is phenomenal. And get a lot of deep leafy greens in there. Get some, oh, I just get so hungry even talking about them.
Have some. Crack open the vitamin water.
Shall. That looks great.
All your crazy here. Come on.
For sure. All your orange vegetables, your sweet potatoes, your carrots, your peppers, stuff like that. Just phenomenal for antioxidants. Yeah.
Dr. April, thanks so much for your time. We'll visit with you again as we get closer to the marathon date, which is at the end of September. If you have any questions or you want more information, you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and of course at surreymarathon.com. We'll see you next time.